Man, today is really getting on my nerves. Every time I've gone to film this video today, some stupid annoying thing has happened to over like the last 2 hours. And now I got some other stupid annoying thing happening behind me, but I'm gonna just I'm gonna just film it because I got things I gotta do. So, um, people have asked me recently about World War III. And someone asked me on Patreon last night, and I just really got to thinking about it, and I realized I don't even care if, yeah, I really don't care what happens. And here's the thing: it's like if you if you prepare yourself properly, it really shouldn't matter what happens around you. You know what I mean? Because you should be kind of ready for anything. And I think that comes from just living off so little resources for so long that now that I've got a couple of resources at my disposal, I'm not real concerned with what happens. And I think it's important to get yourself into that position. You can't let these people hold things over your head. People are always, when I was homeless, a lot of people thought I was stupid. A lot of people thought I was crazy. What they didn't realize was I was putting myself in a position where I don't ever have to rely on anyone but myself. And, you know, I'm not sure if that's a healthy way to be or not, but it's the way I want to be. Because for the most part, the people I've come across in my life, I don't want them having any type of power over me. It's that simple. If somebody upsets me, I want to be able to tell them how I feel. Um, if somebody really upsets me, I want to be able to, you know, completely cut them out of my life and not have, I don't want to be needing other people for anything. And I have worked for friends before, but it ended up just not working out. Not even anyone's fault. It was just the way things worked out. When I was laying sod for my friend, a bunch of hurricanes came through and just, you know, we couldn't stay in business. So, I came to a realization that I don't want to rely on external anything. I want to rely on myself. So, and then the other thing, when I did have things going, the whole economy just collapsed in 2008. And I was like, I can't rely on not just other people, but this whole system. I can't rely on it. So, but here's another thing I've realized over the years is that there are other forces at work. I don't even know how else to explain it. Personally, I refer to it as God or the universe, whatever you want to call it. It's deeper than any real definition, in my opinion. But there's some other forces at work that, um, you know, your karma is gonna matter when things go bad. So I've gotten lucky a few times in my life, and things just happened to go my way when I needed them to. And I feel like, I don't rely on it, but it's always been there for me when I needed it. What There's a saying by Miyamoto Musashi. He's the samurai who fought a bunch of duels and real famous. Wrote the Book of Five Rings, which is basically the art of war for samurais. But he's got a lot of great quotes, and one of them was "Respect the gods and the Buddhas, but never rely on them." And that's he was praying before one of his duels, and he realized that you know, it's me going in there, and it's not. I can't rely on anything but me. And so he was like, really no point in praying about it. I need to just prepare myself for this life or death duel that I'm about to be in. So, um, I agree with that. Respect the gods and the Buddhists, but don't ever rely on them. But know that they're there, and know that, as long as you're not going around doing too much evil, they're going to be kind of looking out for you. And I'm speaking from experience. There was times in my life where I didn't see any way of, eating that day, and then something would happen. I guess I can tell you a quick story. One time, I was about maybe 2 months into being homeless, and I wasn't good at it. And it was the winter, and I wasn't making much money. And this day, I couldn't afford to eat, and I'm a skinny person. When I don't eat, I don't feel good. I don't have a real big reserve of fat, so I was sitting on the train. I was sleeping on the train at the time, and I was pretty depressed, and not knowing how I'm gonna eat. Basically, planning on not eating. I'm thinking tomorrow I'm gonna have to wake up, make some money, hopefully make enough to eat. I'm sitting there on the train. It gets to a stop in Brooklyn. Everyone gets off, and literally it's just me sitting on the train car. I'm not paying much attention to anything. I look over, and there's a bag sitting on the seat, and there's no one around but me. So I go over to the bag, and it's takeout food from some Japanese place, chicken and vegetables and rice. And I'm looking around, and there's no one around. And normally I'm not the type to just be eating food that I find, but this was brand new, fresh food, and I don't know how it got there. I wasn't paying attention, but I ate it, and I felt 1,000 times better. Before I ate that food, I wanted to die. After I ate that food, I had a positive outlook. I was thinking, okay, my life is hard right now, but um, maybe I will make it. Who knows, But it changed my whole outlook, and so that's why I'm not too concerned. And here's the other thing: I feel like it's all staged anyway. I can't control what happens on the other side of the world, and if it was up to me, we wouldn't pay it no mind. What's between Israel and the Palestinians is between Israel and the Palestinians. Personally, I don't like either side. I got to be 100% honest. I'm not rooting for anyone. I don't care what they do. Um, I don't want nothing to do with none of them, and that's the way I feel. Um, I don't think any of them like us too much, so why should I like them? It's not a football game to me where I'm gonna cheer for. I don't care what they do. Just leave me out of it. Do what you want. Y'all want to. I mean, if you look at historically what's been going on over there, to me, it looks like the Palestinians' land has been getting smaller and smaller and smaller. So I don't blame them for being real angry. But, war is war. But in my opinion, I believe if they really wanted peace, they would come to some sort of agreement, as a fair agreement when it comes to the land split. But it doesn't seem like any of them want peace. So, you know, do what you want. Just leave me out of it. Um, I definitely will not be joining in no war for these governments. When I was younger, I almost fell for that when September 11th happened, but fortunately for me, I it didn't work out that way. And when all's said and done, I'm glad because I'm not killing or dying for this government. This government, I have no loyalty to them. None. I got loyalty to my people, but not this government. This government, I want them gone. I don't care what they do. I don't pay them no mind. I don't answer to them. Um, they don't scare me. I don't give a shit what they do. I don't consider them. I'm not a part of them. I exist outside of them. They ain't got no say in my life unless some dumb thing happens, like some dumbass kid wrecks my car, so now I got to deal with government type things. But it's it, for the most part in my life, I don't deal with them. You know, um, I it's just I don't give them any authority over me. I don't recognize them as having any power over me, and I do what I do, and I don't really want anything to do with them. I'll never kill or die for them. If they drafted me and told me I got to go fight in the war, I would go to jail. I'd be like, I'm not fighting for you people. I'm not killing nobody for you people. My enemy is not on the other side of the world living in some mud hut or a desert somewhere. That's not my enemy. That ain't got nothing to do with me. So that's people crack me up when they try to, oh, the draft dodgers. Like, yeah, in my opinion, those people were smart. You want me to go kill people on the other side of the world because you're gonna make fun of me for being afraid if I don't. That's to me the real coward move is to go kill people because you're afraid of what people are gonna think if you don't do it. That's the opposite of what I'm gonna do. You ain't pressuring me into that, especially you know it's all set up anyway. It's all for profit. They just they throw people's lives away. These governments, which these people aren't fit to run a convenience store, but they're in charge of the world. It's absolute insanity. So, in my opinion, I don't care what they do. If they're always like, oh well, we got to fight them over there so they don't come here. Personally, I'd prefer, you know, you don't tell me who my enemy is. Let my enemy reveal themselves. You come over here and attack me, we'll go to war. That's fine. We'll run through them like a chainsaw through butter. You know what I mean? We ain't got nothing to be afraid of. You know what you should be afraid of is people talking you into doing things that are against your best interests, like going to war for a bunch of rich pigs who, you know, they don't care about you. They don't care about your life. It means nothing to them. So look what they do. They spend look at the amount of money they spend on all these wars, and then look at your own situation in this country. But they're trying to make us feel like, oh, we're first world problems. Yeah, that's the point in living in a first world country. You don't got to deal with third world problems. Like, they keep trying to make us feel like guilty for living in the first world. And me personally, my whole life has been lived as if I've been in the third world. I've been living outside most of my life, and you know what I mean? So I got no tolerance for that shit. Oh, first world problems. Yeah, that's the upside to living in the first world. You don't got to worry about drinking mud and making a house out of dirt because you live in the first world. So, you know what I mean? And we'd be a lot wealthier and everyone would be a lot better off without this inept, stupid government in charge. And it's not an accident. Nobody's this stupid on accident. The things that happen in the world. So, you know, it has a lot to do with mind control. So my thing is, don't even pay him no mind, dude. Don't, whatever's going to happen is going to happen. Just try to be ready for anything. And here's the other thing. I think things are getting better, personally. I feel like the government is losing its power. That's why they're resorting to things like they did in 2020, where they turned everything upside down, and it just completely backfired on them. Everyone was just like, now everyone's at a point where ain't nobody gonna pay them no mind if they do that again. At least in Florida, I know we're not. Nobody cares down here about all that. So I don't know. Personally, I'm not too, I'm not concerned with what they do or whatever. I don't pay them no mind. I'm just trying to, you know, get to the point where I'm trying to be in life. And if everything collapses around me, I'll adjust to it, just like I always have. I've lost everything I own more than once, and you kind of realize after a while that everything we own is kind of disposable anyway and easy to replace. So once you've lost everything you own a couple of times, you realize, like, at this point, I don't even accumulate a lot of possessions because I don't need many possessions. I don't care about many possessions. I just want to have, the things I have. I want them to be useful and quality stuff. So, you know, they can do what they want as far as I'm concerned. They just keep exposing themselves for the inept morons that they are, and nobody even pays attention to, like, the mainstream media anymore. It has no more power. Their power is slipping. That's why that's why things are the way they are. They're in their death throes. So, in my opinion, it's a good thing. And here's the other thing. They're not going to let things get too bad here, because what's going to happen then is they're just going to lose everything. So, don't let them, don't let them keep you in a state of fear, because That's what they're trying to do because you're easier to control and manipulate when you're afraid. Take it from someone who's probably dealt with a lot of the things you're afraid of. There's nothing to be afraid of. Um, you know, sometimes when things get difficult, they get more interesting and they get more fun in a lot of ways, believe it or not. So, you know, if everything's too easy, I'm telling you, it's boring. But here's the other thing. I'm just not concerned, dude. I don't think things are going to get too bad. And if they do, then I'll adjust to them, you know? So, there's always going to be opportunities to make a living. You're always going to find opportunities. This land that we are on is filled with resources. You're going to be all right. Regardless, you're going to be all right. So don't let them keep you in a low vibration state of fear and anxiety. That's they've got everybody just scared and worried and not me. It's not working on me. So I hopefully it won't work on you either. And I'm not even, you know, when I say I'm ready for everything, I mean me personally. Physically, I'm fit. I got a bicycle which I can ride to California if I have to. You know, what I mean, I'm just not. It's not like I've got a pile of gold and gemstones buried somewhere, and I've got, you know, 10 years worth of food buried somewhere. I'm just, when I say I'm prepared, I'm talking about physically and mentally I'm prepared. I know how to gather resources like that. That's what really matters. A lot of these people, they think I'm just going to stockpile on everything. Here's the thing. You don't know what's going to happen. You can lose all that tomorrow, you can be chased, what really matters is what's inside of you. So the external shit comes and goes. And sure, it's better to have supplies and it's better to, have stockpiles. And yeah, that's great. But what really matters is you personally being physically and mentally prepared. And then you'll get through anything. And that's how I feel about myself. I've got maybe a couple of weeks worth of food, dehydrated food and stuff, but I've been in positions where I didn't have that, like when the whole 2020 thing happened in New York. I had no supplies or nothing, and I managed to forage and get things. Um, I still managed to thank God for my Instagram for the portraits. People were still buying portraits off my Instagram, and I still, I was just still able to maintain my supplies. I got through it, and it was a rough one. It was hard. Maybe I should do a video about it. But I realized at that point that you can control what you can control, and there ain't no point in worrying about what you cannot control because there's things that are out of your hands. So you know, get yourself mentally and physically prepared for anything, and then don't worry about it. That's my advice. There's a saying: at a time of peace, the wise man prepares for war. Um, and I think it's a great saying because mankind, in his modern form, is a dumbbell and gets himself into all kinds of stupid things. So be ready for anything, and don't worry about it. You're gonna be all right. That's the way I feel. Look, if war broke out right here, I don't even own a gun, but I can tell you one thing: somebody's gonna give me one because I'm a useful ally. I'm an asset to any team. So um, if things got to that point, I don't. I feel I'd be recruited to some team somewhere, and if not, whatever. It's I'll wander around until I land where I belong. So it's hard for me to explain that state of mind because the only reason I have that state of mind is because I've dealt with so much instability in my life that it just doesn't scare me anymore. You know what I mean? And the other thing is, I really don't feel that things are going to get any less stable than they have been for the past couple of years. They can't, if they let things get much worse, they're going to lose everything. People have had enough of them. So whatever happens, I believe it's all part of God's plan and it's going to work out for the best. And so I feel pretty positive regardless of what happens. That's how I feel. So um, I guess let me watch this video and see if it makes any sense. I was planning on making a 5 minute video and it's 20. So let me check it out and see if it makes sense and see if I'm gonna post it. But hopefully, look, it's everything is a state of mind. Don't let them get you. Don't let these people drive you nuts. You know what I mean? Because everything's gonna be all right, bro. In this life or the next one, everything's gonna work out. And I truly believe that everything happens for a reason, and that every negative thing that's happened in my life turned out better. Even my truck getting wrecked. I mean, it's afforded me the opportunity to go back to doing stand up pretty regularly. It's kind of a long story, but without that, I'm not sure I'd be doing that. So, anyways, I guess that's the end of this one. Appreciate every single one of you. My Patreon's getting real interesting over there. If you want to see what's going on over there, go look at it. And yeah, the next review I'm gonna do on my movie channel is gonna be about 28 days later. There's an important lesson in that movie, and it's a good scary movie. So I'm gonna probably put that up tomorrow. So yeah, appreciate every single one of you. Everybody keep cool and don't let these people drive you out of your mind because everything's gonna be all right. I'll see you on the next one.